Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to my presentation. My name is Jane Keeler, and today I'm going to talk to you about the causes and effects of pet overpopulation. When I first moved to North Florida in 2014, I had 2 cats. 2 cats. Now I have 18. 3 years, I went from 2 cats to 18 cats. This is not because my cats have been having babies. This is because I have found homeless and abandoned cats. And I want to talk to you guys about this problem. So, in my presentation today, I'm going to give you a little bit of background information on pet ownership in the United States. Then I'll give you some information on the causes of pet overpopulation, which include lack of sterilization, abandonment and neglect, and the problem of puppy mills. I'll also talk about the effects of pet overpopulation, which include homeless animals, overflowing animal shelters, and euthanasia. And then lastly, I'll come to a little bit of a conclusion and maybe give some possible solutions and ways to fix this problem. So let's get started. Let's talk about some background information about pet ownership in the United States. Here's some more pictures of some of my pets. I don't just have 18 cats, I also have 4 dogs. This is one of my dogs. His name is Mochi. So, according to the ASPCA, there are 78 million dogs and 85.8 million cats that are pets in the United States. So that's a lot of animals that are pets in the United States. Not all countries value having animals as pets, but that's a very big part of our culture in the United States is having pets. There are dogs in about 44% of American households and cats in about 35% of American households. So dogs are a little more common than cats in the United States. You wouldn't know that from visiting my house, but they are more common in the US. Still, both of them are pretty common as pets here. So you might think that based on how many animals are kept as pets in the United States, that it's very easy to find homes for animals, and so it's not that big of a problem. But unfortunately, there are some problems that come along with having animals as pets in this country. So let's talk about pet overpopulation and the causes and the effects of this. So, we'll start with just this term, pet overpopulation. Overpopulation means too many. The biggest cause of pet overpopulation is a lack of sterilization. Sterilization means it's a surgery that prevents your pets from having babies. And this surgery is very common, and you can get it done at your local veterinarian for your boy and girl animals to prevent them from having children. And there's no law that requires this, so a lot of people choose for different reasons not to do this. Some people say, oh, it's not natural to have this surgery, or I want my children to be able to see the miracle of life, so I want my children to see my cat or my dog get pregnant and give birth. Or sometimes men especially tend to react really badly to the idea of their boy dog or their boy cat losing certain parts of their anatomy. But trust me, the boy dogs and the boy cats don't care. I just had one of my boy cats fixed and he has not noticed it. But if you notice this picture down here, these pyramids, you start off with 2 dogs or 2 cats, and in just a few years you have a really large number of dogs and cats. This graphic came from the Arizona Humane Society, and they provided me with some interesting data. One unspayed cat, and spayed is the term for sterilizing a female dog or a female cat. One unspayed cat and her children can grow to 420,000 cats in 7 years. So one cat has kittens, those cats have kittens, those cats have kittens. 7 years, that can become 420,000 cats. One unspayed dog and her offspring doesn't produce as many, but that can lead to 67,000 dogs in 6 years. And again, this is from the Arizona Humane Society. So one person says, oh, I don't want to spay or neuter my dog or my cat. Maybe the cat escapes and runs away, and 7 years later there are 420,000 cats running around because of that one person who didn't get their animal fixed. Another problem is abandonment and neglect. And big problem for that is that there are no standard laws regarding this in the United States. So if you look at this map provided by the Animal Legal Defense Fund, the states that are shown in green have pretty good animal rights records. So Florida, where we are, has a pretty strong animal rights record, meaning if you abandon your animals, you can receive really harsh punishment. And here I found 16 cats in 3 years, and we live in a good place. Just 2-hour drive north from here is Georgia. Georgia is one of the worst states for animal rights. Other problems include, overbreeding, animal abuse, dog fighting, but of course animal neglect. And one of those is abandonment, which is when somebody decides, hey, I don't really want this dog or cat anymore, I'm tired of it, and I'm just going to dump it on the street. And again, that's kind of connected to the first cause, lack of sterilization. If you haven't sterilized your cat or your dog and you dump it on the street, it can go out and have more babies. Or maybe you just want one dog, it gets pregnant, well, you get rid of the puppies because you don't want them. If you put them out on the street, because maybe you live in one of these red or yellow states that doesn't have strict laws, well, they go out, they have more babies. All right, another problem, another cause of pet overpopulation is puppy mills or backyard breeders. So a lot of people like to get purebred animals. They want to buy a dog or a cat that is some kind of special breed, and they want to buy them from usually a pet store. But there are other places that are people who just want to make money off of animals. And they say, well, I have this dog, it's a German Shepherd, my neighbor has a German Shepherd, I'll breed them and I can sell those puppies. So these puppy mills or backyard breeders, they're not regulated in most states, and the people who do this, they're focused mostly on profit. They just want to make money. If their puppies or kittens are sick, or if they can't sell them, goes back to maybe animal abandonment. They can't make any money off of them, they just dump them somewhere. So these are all connected, all of these causes. So these are the 3 main reasons why there's a big animal overpopulation in the United States. Okay, and this is from ISAR Online. All right, let's take a look at some of the effects of this. Obviously, the biggest effect of those 3 causes is homeless animals. So if a person decides to dump an animal somewhere for whatever reason, it's going to end up homeless. According to One Green Planet, there are 70 million homeless pets in the United States. That's mostly dogs and cats, but it also involves birds like parakeets, or things like, say, reptiles like turtles, iguanas, lizards, things like that. Any pet animal that someone has acquired and then decided, oh, I no longer want this animal, I'll just get rid of it, I'll dump it. A lot of times people think, oh, this dog, this cat, this turtle, it can live on its own in the wild. It's an animal. But if an animal doesn't know how to live in the wild, if it's been raised with humans, it's not a wild animal. So there's 70 million homeless pets in the United States. A lot of people say, oh, but there are animal shelters that take in homeless pets. That's true. But, so here's a picture of an animal shelter. The next effect, though, is that animal shelters are overflowing. They are full. So notice I said 70 million homeless animals. There are 6.5 million dogs and cats that enter animal shelters every year. 70 million homeless animals, but 6.5 million dogs and cats in animal shelters. That means there's still a lot of dogs and cats that are out there. They're just dying on the streets. And this is from the ASPCA. Now, if an animal shelter is full and somebody shows up with more animals, what happens? Any ideas? Yep, it's euthanasia. They need to make room in the animal shelter for more animals. And they do that by euthanasia. Euthanasia means using a drug or other methods to kill animals. And that's the only way they can make space for more homeless animals. Because again, if there are 70 million homeless animals and the animal shelters are full, where are they going to go? So basically 1.5 million animals, which is roughly 670,000 dogs and 860,000 cats, are euthanized or killed in animal shelters every year. This is also from the ASPCA. Most of these animals are healthy. Many of these animals are purebred animals. They're killed because they are homeless and there's no room, and more healthy animals are being brought in every day. And this is just another effect of animal overpopulation or pet overpopulation. So, in conclusion, the causes of pet overpopulation are, as I said, a lack of sterilization, inconsistent laws around the United States, and puppy mills and backyard breeders. The effects of this are homeless pets, animal shelters that are full, leading to euthanasia of millions of animals every year. There are, however, some solutions to this. Solutions are for people who own animals to spay and neuter, which means to sterilize their pets. So if you own a dog or a cat, one of the things you should do is to get your animals sterilized. So don't have puppies and kittens. There are plenty of puppies and kittens available in the United States. There are extras. There are too many. I have some. So spay and neuter your animals. The United States also needs to strengthen its laws. There should be consistency among states so that somebody from Florida can't just go to Georgia and abandon an animal and not face any consequences. And individuals should take more responsibility for their animals. A lot of times people say, oh, I don't want this animal anymore, I will just take it to an animal shelter. That happens a lot, except often what happens to those animals is that they are euthanized. They are killed, usually within 7 days. So there are solutions, but they are tough solutions and they require people to take action. It's kind of a depressing story, I know, not the most exciting or happy thought, but this is what I live with every day, especially when people tell me things like, Jane, why don't you take your animals to an animal shelter? Why don't you give your animals away? Why do you have so many cats? This is why. All right, these are my sources if you would like to check them out. And thank you so much for listening to my presentation.